Now, when you got the call from, was it John that called you? Was it just one of those like, hey, Dave, we're getting the band back together, minus the Olsen twins?
We had heard about it for so long. I mean, it's a long time now.
Yeah.
That Full House went off the air. It was 1995 when we went off the air. And so people always said, oh, bring the show back or let's have a reunion, something. So we've been hearing about it for a long time. And then John did tell me a couple months before I actually got official word. He said, hey, I think this is real. I think Warner Brothers and Netflix are going to pull the trigger. So are you interested? And I said, well, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. And it happened, but I never thought it was going to happen.
Who was the hardest, aside from the Olsen twins who aren't coming back, who was the hardest to convince? Was it you to come and sign on for this?
No, I think we're very cognizant of this nice, iconic image that Full House has become. And we did 192 episodes, so we didn't want to botch that up because it's become this really nice, feel-good, kind of guilty pleasure show for people. And we didn't want to come back and screw it up because you could really screw this up. You know, because how do you project forward 25 years with no mullets? You know, or really bad clothing.
It's really funny to look back at the clothing and how high-waisted all the pants were, and the clothing choices.
The hair.
Yeah, I was one step away from being Urkel. Some shows, you know?
Who actually guest starred on an appearance of Full House.
Absolutely, yes. We had amazing guest stars. We had the Beach Boys. We had Little Richard. Little Richard was on Full House.
I know that.
The Beach Boys, Mickey Rooney. We had all the Phyllis Diller, all these throwback people that were, you know, iconic at the time. And it was just, you know, it was so much fun. And I've never really watched Full House. I've seen maybe 2 episodes when my son was growing up. He used to call it Daddy's Show. And I would punish him if he didn't like finish his vegetables. Like, no, you're not watching Daddy's Show until you finish that broccoli. So I've never really watched it. I'm sure someday, you know, I'll have my own Full House marathon.
We do every night. We DVR it every night because of Nick at Night. And how many episodes you say? 197?
192.
Oh, 192. And they play the same 20 over and over.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I know, but you know what? The checks are still cashing.
So you get like a check.
So I don't. Yeah, it's
Residual's still there.
Happy mailbox. Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about Fuller House?
Has it started filming yet?
Have you guys started filming?
We start July 9th is our first table read, our first script over at Warner Brothers, and then July 13th we start shooting. And it's a spinoff. It's a spinoff of Candace Cameron, Andrea Barber, and Jodie Sweetin, and they're now together with their own kids. And
that's DJ, Kimmy, and Stephanie.
Right.
Yes. And so we're going to do this first episode, which is kind of a reunion of sorts. And then we're going to be popping into their lives throughout the season.
So you're not going to be there every episode, just like here and there?
I don't know. If I do something really spectacular, they might say, you know what, that thing you did with, like, you know, where you turned sideways and some gas flew out. We've got to have that on it.
That's pretty good.
Well, some of us on the show are very disappointed with the Olsen twins for not coming back, at least for that first episode.
You know, I can't speak for them, but I think they have a different perspective than we do. They were babies on the show.
But it launched their careers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it launched a lot of careers, but I think that they just are in a completely different headspace in their life now. They just became fashion designers of the year or something in New York City.
Yeah.
So I think their lives have evolved into something completely different away from Full House. I don't have any memories when I was 8 months old.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
You know,
well, just hopefully they don't bring. You remember when they tried to do the Brady Bunch and they'd recast Cindy or recast Jan because they were having a bratty attitude? I'd rather them just not be on than recast them with another actress.
Yeah, I'm a little frightened myself. I'm a little scared that we might botch this up where they're like, oh man, they're old. They're old, man. He looks like an old airline pilot.